Spider-Man 3 was just... I don't know what the hell they were thinking there. Just there.
But like I mentioned, I know it's a bad movie too, but Batman and Robin is at least better than Spider-Man 3 because it's a guilty pleasure because I grew up with the TV show and it kind of brought back that campiness that the TV show had. So I give it credit for that in a guilty pleasure sense.
I love the soundtrack. Awesome soundtrack.
Yeah, the thing with Batman and Robin is that although it's a bad movie, at least it's funny to watch.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
Kind of crack while watching.
Spider-Man 2.
But the thing with Spider-Man 3, it doesn't make you laugh. It makes you cringe. It makes you angry. You know?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. With all that dancing and the crying and the... What the fuck? Venom for 10 minutes? What were they thinking, man? It was like,
Sam Raimi says he's a fan. How can you do this movie if you're a fan of Spider-Man, man? You call yourself a fan.
Even Sam Raimi himself admits that the movie was awful.
Well, that's good. He's owning up to his mistakes. Just like with the same thing with Stallone with Expendables 3. He even said Expendables 3 was a mistake. He even came out and said it.
Has anyone read the script for Spider-Man by James Cameron?
Oh, I read that. Oh God, that was.
Bad.
Because I heard he wrote that on purpose because he didn't want anything to do with it. He wanted to get out.
Oh.
So he could go off and do Titanic.
Well, it was probably for the better, seeing that his Spider-Man script sucked.
Yeah. It was a little too adult, too, I found. Like, it was more adult than...
exactly.
The thing with Spider-Man is that he's not supposed to be a really dark character like Batman or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they fear for the Amazing Spider-Man. But Andrew Garfield, he kind of balanced it a bit.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I heard he got fired for not showing up at a gig or something like that.
I hope that's not true. But if it's true, I hope they bring him back because Sony don't know what the fuck they're doing.
They do not know what the fuck they're doing.
No.
And you remember when they leaked the plans that Sony had? I think at one point they said that they had plans for a Super Mario Brothers reboot as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I
I heard there was an anime attached to that, or animated, or like CGI movie or something like that attached to that.
Yeah.
For the Mario.
It was when those hackers hacked Sony because they were going to come out with a review.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a crazy story, man. Crazy story.
Yeah, it is.
Horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when I was very little, my thoughts about doing a Spider-Man movie when I was a kid, and I actually thought about having Tom Cruise as Spider-Man.
Tom Cruise as Spider-Man.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see Spider-Man Noir. Like the...
Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, from the Shattered Dimensions. I would like to see a movie like that, like a black and white Spider-Man movie. Where he doesn't really have, like, all the abilities.
I actually thought of Brandon Lee as Spider-Man.
Yes, Brandon Lee as Spider-Man.
That'd be cool.
Because he had the agility, he had the athleticism, he had the wisecracks. If you watch his movies like Rapid Fire and The Crow, he was always cracking jokes. It was like, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that would have been great. Plus, he's actually like 6 feet tall, and Spider-Man's like 5'10". He's like a pretty tall guy if you think about it.
Exactly. If you go back and watch Rapid Fire in The Crow, how he was very athletic and with his agility, he would have put off Spider-Man just in a heartbeat, man. He would have been perfect.
Yeah, like all those moves, the acrobatic moves that he did, all the flips he did too, like.
Yeah.
Especially in The Crow, how that was kind of like a comic book. How it if you watch The Crow, despite how dark it was, it kind of showed the potential he had to be Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, see, you know, even though he's half Asian, half American, he does have the look for Spider-Man. If you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you can't tell what race he is. He just you can't when you look at him. You don't see what kind of race he is. He's just a guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
What do you guys think about the Crow reboot?
He doesn't.
I don't want to talk about that.
No. I don't want to talk about it either.
What were you about to say, Gabbo?
I said no.
Matt, did you me and Gabbo were talking about this online? Yeah, did you hear about that bullshit about the Poltergeist remake?
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about that one. I've kind of given up hope. I've kind of given up hope on Hollywood. You know?
Yeah, they want to make it a kids movie for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That goes to show you, man. Hollywood has lost it, man. They fucking lost it.
Out of their fucking minds, that's what they are.
Exactly.
Think about, like, if you go back and you look at Spielberg movies, he had such an eye for out-of-the-box signature scenes and setups that's why, if you go back and watch, say, like, Poltergeist, right? That's why all those scenes are so epic. You know, and to do that now, you know, like back then, it was what? Like,
it can't work. It can't work today. Definitely.
Yeah.
I see what you're going at. Did you see Mike OCP's rant about how Spielberg wasn't kind of stole Rick Breaker's stuff for E.T. and everything? Did you see his rant about that?
I was just gonna bring up E.T.
I remember because they wanted to make a movie called Dark Skies, I think, or Night Skies.
Night Skies, yeah.
Night Skies, and it was supposed to be a horror movie, like a horror movie with aliens. Rick Baker was supposed to do the effects, and they stopped production on that. Steven Spielberg called Rick Baker up if he wanted to do E.T. I think Rick Baker said, "I'd like to, but I'm working on American Werewolf in London." So, and
Spielberg, he just went nuts. He just took his shit.
Yeah. And speaking of Rick Baker, you know, he was supposed to do a creature feature with Stallone called Isobar.
Really?
Isobar.
I think I heard of that.
Yeah.
What was it about?
It was about like this plant creature gets loose on this supersonic train.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
Nice.
That would be cool, but to have Stallone up against a creature, he should. I heard that was supposed to be the story from Rambo 5. That would be cool to have Stallone like in a Predator situation, you know.
I'm actually reading that right now.
And you know, like that would have been like, Stallone's own like creature feature like Predator, you know, where he's going up against something otherworldly.
Yeah, and Matt even talked about this since since his shows about Rambo, how the book Hunter was based off the original story for Rambo 5, where he goes up against this creature, because there was a character named Hunter that was kind of like Rambo. He was like an Indian. He was tracking this creature.
Actually, it's like, it's not hard to stretch from Hunter to Rambo, especially after watching Rambo 4, because like they call him the Boatman. He's got pretty much nicknames, like in First Blood, the Kid. But with Hunter, we're actually going to be covering that in about 3 months or so, 3 or 4 months. But in Hunter, it's so Rambo. Like, I can imagine Stallone sitting there reading this book and just saying, okay, this is Rambo, because it's pretty much Rambo. Like when it opens up with this little toddler getting lost in the forest, and they can't track him, and they know by night if they don't find him, he's pretty much dead, and it's getting really cold. And when this hunter guy shows up, it's like that scene from First Blood Part 2 when Rambo shows up in the helicopter, and he's got like the red shirt with the jeans and the long hair. Pretty much describes him like that. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go look for the kid, because he's like this Indian tracker. And he's got like the Bowie knife, the tunic, everything. Like the First Blood tunic, but he makes it out of like leather, and it has like a hood on it. It's so Rambo. Like
he should have went with that story.
He's got like this big wolf dog.
He should have made that story. He should have not listened to the backlash. He should have went with that story.
Yeah. It would have been interesting. Yeah.
Sounds very much like Bone, you know.
It's really blood.
And, you know, people said, oh, we've been jumping the shark and shit. I'm like, what? Jumping the shark? Nah.
What?
What? You know.
First Blood Part 2 was jumping the shark.
He was jumping the shark. I love Rambo 3.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Rambo's pretty much a cartoon character anyway, isn't he? Like, he's become one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
exactly.
Like
yeah.
a superhero, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the point. And the same thing with Jack Reacher in a way. How if you read his books, there seem to be kind of gritty and realistic, but like I mentioned, Jack Reacher, he's kind of like the character of John Matrix. Because no, he's dirty blonde hair. He's very big. If you go back and watch Commando after knowing who Jack Reacher is, if you look at Schwarzenegger's how his presence was in that movie, that kind of gives you a glimpse of what Jack Reacher could have been if he came out in the 80s. It kind of gives you a glimpse of how Jack Reacher might be on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.